Yesterday, we woke up to the news, right? It kind of grew throughout the day, this consensus between analysts on Wall Street that the Fed's going to become more hawkish, and that sent the stock markets crashing. The S&P was down, the Dow was down, the NASDAQ was down, the small caps were down. Bond rates went through the roof. The 10-year bond, last I looked, was like 3.35, I think the highest it's been in 12 years. Mortgage rates skyrocketing. They've almost doubled this year from 3 to 6%. That's going to kill housing. But what we like to follow are the precious metals, right? Gold and silver. How did they do? Now, on Friday, they did really well. They acted as like while the rest of the market was crashing on Friday, gold did well, silver did well. They acted like their good old hedge against market crash, and they were reacting great to inflation. Well, yesterday, when everybody decided that the Fed was going to raise rates more aggressively from doing a half-point increase to a three-quarter-point increase, that increased level of hawkishness was just, I'm not going to curse, it shocks me that the Fed's actually becoming more hawkish. I don't know. It's unbelievable that now the Fed, people are saying the Fed is going to become more hawkish. There's so much debt out there that, hey, like a half-point increase in rates now is like the equivalent of a 3% increase back in the 70s, back when debt levels were significantly lower. Now we have multiples more: corporate debt, government debt, consumer debt, what's the other debt? Mortgage debt. We have so much debt that a smaller increase now has the same effect as a huge increase did back then. They are slamming the brakes on the economy. People, because of increased interest expenses, governments, businesses, individuals, right? If your amount of interest you're paying is going up, 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 that means you have less disposable income. That means you have less money to spend on things. Oh, and here's the kicker, by the way, that less money you do have, you're buying things that are inflating in price. The economy is coming to not a halt, but a abrupt slowdown, and people aren't really talking about it, but I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you about it, and it's going to mean the Fed's going to have to tilt back to dovishness sooner as opposed to later. So anyway, the gold stocks got clobbered. The mining stocks got clobbered yesterday, down 8%. Really not a good day. You're not alone, right? I actually beat the market. My stocks were down almost 10%. But gold mining stocks got clobbered. Gold was down 3%. Silver was down 4%. It was disheartening, okay? I'm not going to lie to you, because I was really feeling and really optimistic that gold was kind of turning that corner to start performing like it had in the late 70s and 80s. And although I don't feel like it right now, I do think that it still will. I do think that once everything gets washed out with all this current change in monetary policy and inflation and everything else, that gold will continue to perform very well. But in the meantime, it can be painful. And we can look on the bright side. We could have been invested in crypto. I mean, Bitcoin's down from a high of 67,000 to 22,000. I think that's like a third the value of what it had. And most of the other cryptos and crypto schemes that popped up over the last year or two, they have been obliterated. The most recent one is the Celsius network, where people would deposit their crypto with Celsius and Arcelius, or whatever the hell they're called, and they would then loan it out, and you would get paid like a 10% interest rate, but they're not a bank. Well, no, they're not a bank, because yesterday they basically like kind of shut down, and people are really worried about, are they going to be able to withdraw their crypto that they put into this thing. So the whole crypto, and I'm not going to go on a crypto rant, but the whole crypto thing, one thing I noticed, and this starts at the very top with that Michael Saylor guy, there's a bunch of creepy people. Raoul Paul kind of creeps me out. I don't know him, so I'm not saying anything bad about him. There's this other little skinny guy that used to be into gold and silver, and he talks like this, and he's on the YouTube a lot, and he's, I forget his name, but they all, I did some research on one crypto at one point called SafeMoon, and after about a half hour, I watched an interview with the guy heading it, and they just all creeped me out. You know, like when you go into a used car or a car dealership and you feel like that you're dealing with some creepy people. Not all car dealers, not all car salesmen, but just as an example. That's what I felt like when I was looking at the SafeMoon thing. The other thing I want to ask you guys is, how do you feel about this potential for a food crisis? Some of the other YouTube financial personalities are spreading this idea that we're going to have food shortages this summer, that food processing plants are being shut down or being burned down. I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that. I'm not a strong believer one way or the other. Heck, nothing would surprise me at this point, but I'd be curious your thoughts on that. Are we headed for a food shortage? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully not. If you enjoy my videos, give me a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to turn the little bell, press the bell icon. That way you'll get notified every time I put out a new video. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you joining me in Ron's Basement. And until next time, you be well.